Make room, everybody. Make room. Make space. What does that mean? It means you want something else. You've got to receive that and look away from the other thing that's taking up that space. Because when you put your attention upon something, when you put your attention upon something, it is taking up the space. It's taking up the space. So, what do you want? Do you want to be cluttered? Or would you prefer that you have space? I know we always hear, let's hold space for someone. That means to give them your attention. I'll tell you why. I got up this morning because, I had an epiphany yesterday. That epiphany didn't drop out of the sky. That epiphany came from my bestie saying, girl, have you seen? You need to tidy that little corner up right there. So I opened my eyes this morning. They popped right open at 4 a.m. No, 3:44 a.m. And I said, really? I was like, we're going to do it like this, are we? The space is clean. And the reason why we need that space, in order for growth to proceed, we need space. And I will always remember what Mr. Middleton taught me: clean space, clean mind. I will always remember that. So, where in your life this morning we've been procrastinating? There's something that needs to be done, and you may not know what to do with it. You may not quite know what to do. But last night, as we discovered, by way of Moses and the Red Sea, you put your back to your problem. You take your attention away from your problem because the solution is the seed inside that problem. Hmm? So when you take your back and you put it towards your problem, that means your face is on the solution. And the funny thing happens: the more you focus on the solution, little steps will show up for you to do. This is why one must be vigilant to watch what is happening. That was less than 24 hours. Angela makes space. And I was like, but I'm so tired. I can't. Really tired. No. I got up, and you have to do it. And you're not doing it because you're pulling your teeth out. You're doing it because you are making space for something that you want to come in the door. If you can't open the door because there's just too much stuff in there, how are you going to receive it? Another way of saying that is, if your hands are full, how are you going to receive something else? You must put something down. You must put something in its place. Put something in its place so that you can make room for something else. It is imperative that we make room. If that means you have an old way of thinking and behaving, because the thought will govern the action, if you have that going on and you say, oh, but I would prefer to be this way, well, then you've got to turn your back on the old thing. You must turn your back on the old way of being so that you can make room for the new thing that you want to experience. And the thing is, when you start, when you make space, I'm talking physically as well as in your mind. When you make that space, it feels good. Like the body actually feels good. You're like, oh, I did it. There's a sense of relief. What do you think is happening there with that relief? You got it. Your vibration has been raised. I keep telling you, feng shui, right? We think we think feng shui is a cool thing to do. But if we understood why we did it, when you put the space in the way it should be, you allow energy to flow, which is the vibration, because everything moves. The vibration is raised. And when that vibration is raised and you sustain it there by keeping your space tidy, well, then opportunities begin to come right in your door. We had this saying, fortune knocks once at every man's door. That's a popular saying. You may not have heard it. I don't know if you have. I'm pretty old school. But fortune knocks once at every man's door. You've got to be able to open that door. But you also have to be able to hear the knock on the door. And we hear that knock on the door once we've made space. Space means, or making room for something. When the knock comes, it echoes and you can hear it because you have space. You've got the room to do what you need to do. You've got room to move. Even though you may be dissatisfied with a particular area of your life, make room. Begin to change your old way of thinking and remember what it is. Remember to use polarity. You look at where you are and you look at where you want to be. And in between those two things is step two, because step one is the recognition of where you are. Well, step two is the recognition of where you want to be. And step three is that step you take to get you closer. And what will that be? Make room. Make room. They tell you when you set your bedroom up, right? You need space on the left and you need space on the right. Why? Because one person has their side and the other person has their side. If your bed is up against the wall, there's only place for one person. How can someone come into your life if you have no room for them? Ponder that. Think about where your room is situated and how it's situated. You see, the reason I teach you the laws is because they are the foundation. So now when you look at your space, when you look at the space you live in, whether or not it is to your satisfaction, meaning is it an upper level, a lower level, is it an apartment? It doesn't matter. So long as the energy within it is flowing properly, it all starts in your mind. If you look around that space and you see clutter, begin to make room. Just start with one corner. What's necessary for me to hold on to? Because now your thoughts begin to change. You have to ask yourself, what am I going to let go of? What can I donate? What can I recycle? What can I toss? And you begin to see what action you should take. And you begin to make room in your space. And once you make room in your space, something else happens. There's more room in your life now for opportunities to approach you. Yeah, but that's just cleaning up my room. You have to remember the law of correspondence. As within, so without. If the thoughts are cluttered and chaotic, so must your immediate space be. You can tell a lot about a person by getting into their car. If they have to move things off the front seat for you to sit down, do you see what I'm saying? Well, do you hear what I'm saying? I had to do that. I tidied up my car and I maintain it now. Well, I don't wash the exterior. It's winter. But I make sure that it is tidy and it is vacuumed. Why? Not because I'm trying to please anybody, but when I get into my car, if it is tidy, I am relaxed behind the wheel. You see, everything has its purpose. So, what do you want to come into your life? What can you get rid of to make room for that? If you are in friendships that clutter your mind and take from you, perhaps it is time to reassess. Because remember, mutual benefit. We're here. We help each other. But if you're the one taking all the time, examine yourself. Why do you take all the time? If you're the one who's giving all the time, why are you giving all the time? So you see, it's never, you don't judge the person who you think is taking. You ask yourself, why am I giving all the time? Mutual benefit. When you are in a mutually beneficial relationship or friendship, it doesn't matter what it is. You don't know who's giving and you don't know who's taking because both needs are met. But if you're leaning too far on one side, you must question yourself. And then you have to make room for the type of friendship you want to have. And when you start making space in your mind because your thoughts are now more ordered, you begin to see, oh my goodness, I'm afraid of losing friends because I don't want to be alone. What? I don't have boundaries? You see, when you start to practice the law, boundaries just happen because you begin to see your value. You begin to see your worth and you begin to get bold with it and you make that choice and you say, yeah, as within, so without. So I'm going to respect my space. I'm going to respect my time. And thus, whoever you encounter outside of you, they will do the exact same. It goes the other way also. If you're constantly having that inner conversation with conflict in your mind, arguing in your mind, well then, whomever you encounter must argue with you, because as within, so without. So make room for the things you think you want to experience. So in order to experience making friends, well then you've got to be comfortable in your own skin. You've got to be comfortable knowing I am worthy. So that means you have to relinquish the old thought of, please, you ain't nobody. Who want to be your friend? You don't have anything to offer. You must relinquish that. Get rid of that. You replace it by doing what? Becoming the friend. So what is a friend? A friend is reliable. Are you reliable? Start to practice being reliable. You say, you know what? I'm going to be here at 3 o'clock, 2:50. You're there. Set your alarm. Become reliable. Why? Because when you are reliable, as within, so without. If you say you don't want to cuss anymore, find new words. Get a thesaurus, get a dictionary, learn words. There are words, and words have, as we know, potent meanings. I don't want to speak to myself so negatively anymore. Well, then what would you like to say to yourself? And every time that thought wants to take you backwards to, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough. Anytime you want to go back there, you go, this is who I am right here. And you tell yourself who you are. Why? Because when you tell yourself who you are, as within, so without, it is confirmed on the outside. This is what Neville Goddard means when he says everybody is you pushed out. It is the law of correspondence. As within you, so must you experience on the outside. So when you're making room for these things, making space, examine what it is. It's like going through your closet and you try to put on a pair of jeans and it doesn't get over your thigh and you go, well, donation it is. That's what you do with your thoughts. They don't fit you anymore. So then you replace them one at a time. And you have to keep replacing it and replacing it and replacing it until it becomes a permanent fixture, a permanent habit. Well, nothing is permanent, is it, except for change? But the habit now that you make opens up more space for you because now you get to be the person, you get to behave the way you want to. I trust that this makes sense today because making space in your mind by getting rid of those thoughts. And when I say get rid of, I mean replace. You must reprogram because that's what it is. It is something that you've learned. It is something that you've learned. And what we do is, because I know we're here to unlearn, but in actuality, you're learning something new. You can't unlearn it. There's no eraser that you can just erase it out of your mind. It is always going to be there. So you learn something else. And when you learn a new way, you create more space. There's another wrinkle, and the more wrinkles in the brain, they pack themselves on top of each other. You've just made more space, more room. This is what we do on a daily basis. We take stock. We do it with our closets. We do it with our pantries. But we don't do it with our attitude, right? So take that time. Just you're not you're not making room because you're judging. You're making room because you don't want critters. Hmm. Critters could be bad behavior as well, not just creepy crawlies. So take stock today. Look at your space. Look at your space, and you will get a very good reflection of who you are in that space. Think about that. Bring up the image of a hoarder. You can't even open the door. They don't even know what's there. But their minds are just as messy. All those thoughts swirling around on a daily basis. And then that leads to agitation. So catch those thoughts. Go through the Rolodex. And always I suggest the one that keeps showing you itself most frequently. That's where you begin. Don't go looking for it. It will present itself to you because you will ask, why do I keep doing this? Why does this keep happening to me? Within every problem is the seed of your solution. So when you look at it and say, why do I keep doing that? Well, you want to stop. So what do you want to do instead? That is how you make room. That is how you make space. So the next time you say, I will hold space for you, know that you are saying to that person, my mind is on you. That's what you're doing. When you give your attention to something, it takes up space. This is, ponder that for a moment. Let's take a brief moment to welcome everyone into this space. Twitter, Ruru, I see you. Dream Lover, I see you. Brookie, darling. Luke, and Speedy G. Satma, welcome to the space. I've never said your name before. It is a pleasure to meet you. That's Twitter. Fanbase, Yolanda, Shanice, Miss McQueen, Zola, Matthias, Jamea, Malik, L, and Jaded. I can't see the rest of your name, but I know it is Jaded. Oh, Jaded Housewife. Welcome to the space, darling. That is everybody for Fanbase and Twitter. YouTube, let's see who's here. Everyday King, Empress Ella, Queen Marat, Sinovia Pens. Let me scroll and see who else is here. Hello, David. Cyber, Emanon, the Better Man, Asonia. Anot, welcome to the space. And for the others who have not made themselves known, welcome to you also. And for the replay people who listen, welcome to you. Let us recap. Making space, making room, clearing things out. Spring is almost upon us. You notice how spring happens and you go outside and you stretch and you're like, oh, that fresh air on the body is lovely. Yes. That is why they call it spring cleaning. You're making room from all the things that you have collected. All the things you've collected. We collect thoughts. Oh, many of them. Some of them aren't even ours, but we collect them nonetheless. So the one that shows you itself first is what you examine. Remember, we examine. We do not judge. Judging is, oh my God, I've been trying to do this thing for years and I'm still the same. How can I never get this right? I'm such a loser. That is judgment. And as we know by way of correspondence, if you judge you, you will judge others, but they will also judge you. And who's getting the double judgment here? The one holding it. You are. So you see, judge not, lest ye be judged. It's not telling you to don't judge them. It's telling you don't judge you. Don't judge you. Edify yourself. You don't criticize yourself. People say, oh, I'm giving you constructive criticism. Wait, what? Do you know what it means to criticize? Where is my resident etymologist? Mozinga. Perhaps he'll show up. When you criticize, you're a critic. A critic judges and gives their opinion on what they like and what they don't like about what you've done. You don't criticize yourself, you edify. When you look at a behavior that you're doing and you say, ooh, that's unsavory. I don't like that behavior. Get out polarity. What would you like to behave like instead? And when you say, okay, from that behavior to this one, you must practice the new behavior until you don't have to practice it anymore. You're just doing it. So you see what you've done. You made space. You made room by examining the behavior and choosing the one you actually want to do. Is it going to be a little challenging? But of course it is. Of course it's challenging. Because that is the nature of a habit. Once it is set, good luck trying to just eradicate it. It's like bamboo, remember? Bamboo takes 4 years to burrow down into the depths of the earth. And after that, it springs upward. 30 to 60 days, bam, you got a mature plant. You can cut it down, you can burn it, but it will grow again because it has strong roots. That is what a habit does. So that's why a habit must be as strong as it is, because a habit makes you successful. So when you begin to take stock of your habits, because that is all you are, a series of habits, a series of programmed behaviors that we've done for our whole lives. And when you see one that's not working anymore, well, what is a habit? A habit is a thought, a word, or a behavior that you do consistently, all the time, every time. That's why a thief will case, because he watches the habit. Because if you watch the habit, you know the person. This is how an algorithm has been developed. It watches your habits. And then, if you notice, when you go online and you have a particular way of doing things online, what's suggested? More of the same that you like to do. That is what habits do to you in your experiences. So if you have a habit of whatever that is, you are always going to be presented with the opportunity to do it. So if you do not like the action of that habit, then you must, every time it comes up, you hit the three little dots in the corner in the upper right or the lower right. Do not recommend. It is that simple. You see a behavior you don't like. What is the new behavior? That's what you do, the new behavior. And you're telling your body, do not recommend the old behavior. But you look at it. When you say do not recommend, what happens? You might see one or two more of them, but they stop being recommended to you. It is the same with your habits. So, in order to do not recommend, you must show what you want instead by doing what? Accessing that new type of video or content that you would like to be recommended to you. So, your habits, if you look at it and you say, ooh, I don't like that one, but I will do this instead. Now your body says, is that so? All right. But every time you see the old, do not recommend by doing the new thing. This is how you make room. This is how you make space. You see, we marvel and we wonder at how technology can somewhat predict us. Because technology does what we are not willing to do, observe ourselves. This is why AI is as smart as it is, because it does one thing, it observes and it gives it back. This, you see, we are the original. Observe the self. When you see something you do not like, because that's usually where we begin. Discomfort gets your attention. So if you don't like it, you're like, oh, that doesn't feel good. So it has your attention. And now that it has your attention, what do you want to do with it? What do you want to do with it? You see, sometimes we become overwhelmed. But if you take a minute to just sit, and you say to yourself, I've done it this way all my life. Do I want to do it this way? I've gotten the same result every time. It's not a mystery of what you need to do. Look at what you're doing, and you will see exactly what to change to, what new action you should do in order to create that new space you want. Again, it is the parable with the servants, the one who was given 1 talent, 2 talents, and 5 talents. You see, if you are faithful with the little things, and the little things are all around you. I gave you the example of your car. Is it tidy? Well, why is that important? Get into your messy car. Every time you see it, it irks you. It vexes you when you see it. And when it vexes you when you see it, what happens? Now you're mad. You're angry in your mind. And you drive like you're mad. And then, next thing you know, you are in a confrontation. Because that's what happens. But if you tidy the car, you remove the inner argument. You've just made room for another wave of thinking that will be a better way for you to live and have experiences. It's the same thing for your room. If you've got to push clothes to the side so you can sleep on your bed, hello. But where does one begin? By removing one piece of clothing. Listen, if you have to pick it up and sniff it, listen, just pick it up and put it in the hamper the first time. And then when you do your laundry, you take it out of the dryer, fold it. There's nothing more beautiful than warm clothes in -20 weather. Nothing more beautiful than that. To fold it and put it away. Make that the new action. Why? Because when you have room on your bed, do you know that your sleep is better? Oh, yes. If you have dishes in the sink First of all, after one day, they gonna smell, and you're gonna get mad because then you're looking at the pile and you're like, oh, where do I even begin? However, if you listen to what Confucius tells you, do things when they are little. So if you have three dishes in the sink, wash them, put them in the drying rack. Why? Because when you're ready to make something, you don't have to clean up before you do it. And you know why I say this? Because it creates anger within you when you see clutter. Pay attention to it. If you know somebody who's a little bit messy, watch and see if they aren't a little bit cranky all the time. Just pay attention, and then you decide if that's what you want. So practice the art of making space. Practice the art of making space. Eminon, my car is black. It looks white right now. From all of the, because it's so slushy outside. Well, it snowed yesterday, so when it melts, my car will be cleaner. But the interior is clean. Just don't lean on the car because you're going to get dirty. So I understand the car wash. Right. Take your time. You do not have to do the entire alphabet, but you start with the one thing that is in your face first. Because as soon as you are finished that, the next crops up. This is why Thoth will tell you the goal ever moves. May you think you've attained it. Why would he say that? That seems so discouraging to hear, that every time you make an accomplishment, the goalpost is moved. Why is the goalpost moved? Because everything moves. Expansion is always happening. So when you reach one level, you must expand to the next. And when you finish that one, you must expand to the next. But you notice how it is one thing at a time. Why one thing at a time? Order is maintained with one thing at a time. Because if you do too many things, one becomes overwhelmed. And when we become overwhelmed, we rock ourselves in the corner. Do one thing at a time and do it well. This is the way of making space in our lives. I trust that this makes sense. We take these things for granted because they seem so obvious, right? They seem so obvious. Yes, Imanon. Zola, go ahead. I don't want to keep everybody too long, but go ahead, my dear darling, share.
Good morning, everyone, and Yolanda. No, this isn't long at all. I love how you said how the goal expands every time we reach a goal. And it's funny, you're 100% right, because it sounds like negative, or it sounds like, oh, it's always trying, or it's always something I have to accomplish. I could never be settled with one. But I know what you mean. It's something as simple as, like, when I first got on my own and I lived in apartments. I started out like on the third floor and I didn't have any furniture. So I just like slept on the carpet and I had a blanket and a pillow. And now I have a daughter, and it's like, before that time I would like get I would purchase like one big ticket item, and it would be like a washer and dryer set. And I would like get a no interest payment, pay it off, and then like, oh, okay, I have a washer and dryer set. And then I got to, like a nice dining table. Then I got like a couch, and then I got like a really nice bed, and then really nice dresser. And it's like all these things added up, and I took it a step at a time. I didn't get it all overnight, but it was like I wrote it down. It's going to cost me $1,000 to get this washer and dryer set. It's going to cost me $1,200 to get this new couch. I write it down and I crossed it off, and it's like, wow. And now that I look around, and I still have that same wash and dryer set, which is like my first big ticket item. When I look back, I'm like, wow, I really did come a long way. And yeah, I still have goals now. It's like, okay, I'm going to pay off my car, and then I want a house. but it's not like the negative feeling you describe, how some people think, oh my God, I always have to keep doing something. But it's like when you take a moment to look around and see all that you're accomplished, it's great that you have goals and that you keep writing new goals. It's like, wow, when I get a home, I'll be ready. I'll have my furniture, and I worked hard for this, and my stuff is like paid for. So it's just like, wow, I know exactly what you need. It's a great feeling.
Zola, that is amazing. I love you. I do, because every time you share, you're right on point. Like, it is amazing. And that's why I always want to encourage people. Synovia said hello, by the way, Zola. And what?
Hi, Zenobia.
See? So that's why I want us to know that every time the goalpost is moved, it does not mean, again, it doesn't mean that. Because if you think about it, the universe would never have expanded to where it is had the goalpost not been moved. Growth happens when you move those goalposts. You're making space every single time. And that's what I want you to remember and live it. Live these things so that when you look back, just like Zola said, when you look back, you don't look back to complain, oh my God. No, but you look back to say, look at how far I have grown. That is where we go.
Yes. And I just wanted to say one more thing.
Yes.
Like, had I not purchased that washer and dryer, or had I not set those goals, like, we live on the third floor, and I see people on the second floor under us carrying laundry baskets and driving, because our apartment complex doesn't even have like a washer and dryer area where you can go. So I see them driving their stuff, putting it in the car. And I'm like, how inconvenient is that? I couldn't imagine having to do that. Like, every time I want to do laundry, if I want to go to the store and do laundry at the same time, or cook and do laundry at the same time, I can like kill two birds with one stone. So yeah, it makes sense to like plan and make goals, and reach those goals and keep making those new goals. It's really beneficial.
Absolutely. That is the beauty. That is the beauty of perspective. You see, because so many of us, we we complain. Oh no, so many of us do it. But if we would see and understand or comprehend, if we would comprehend that it is to your benefit to always make room, always. So if you have the thing cluttered in your mind, oh, I'd like to do that. You'd like to get out polarity. This is why you have it. You know where you are now. So this is where you want to move from to here. That's step 1 and 2. Step 3 is, oh, what's that move to take me closer to where I want to be? That's how you're making room. And so it's it's a beautiful thing when we practice and we get our minds right. That's why I say we don't judge, we edify. When you look at it, right? You look at it. Okay, I see what's happening here. I see what I can be. All right. First step, like I said, because we do these things and we live them every day. If you're a procrastinator, if you are going to change procrastination, first of all, why are you procrastinating? We procrastinate sometimes because you just don't want to do that thing. But why? If you don't have time to figure out why, change a habit. So if you say, I got to put the laundry away, remember, a clean bed means you get restful sleep. The restful sleep is enough to pull you to put that laundry away so we don't procrastinate with it. And then you remind yourself, I sleep better when my bed is clean. So laundry day is this day, and it's going to take me this long. Every time it comes out of the dryer, I fold it and I put away, fold and I put away. Oh, look, the laundry is done. And so the next time is laundry day, you do it again so that is just the way you do laundry now. And if you say, look, I don't like my socks on the floor, when you take them on, Don't put the hamper somewhere where it's you gotta like go out of your way to get to it. Put it somewhere where it's within reach. So when you take the socks off, dun, da, 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 they're in the hamper. Make your life easy. So make space for this expansion, this growth that you have to do because it is inevitable that we grow, right? So it is a beautiful thing. Procrastinating is a major change for elevation, in my opinion, says Emanon. But of course, this is why we practice, isn't it? We practice. That's why I will keep telling you until you remember and you start doing it. Edify yourself. Because when you judge, you blind the eye. You can't see an opportunity when you keep judging yourself. Why do you not see it? The law of vibration tells you, well, everything moves, everything vibrates. So if you are judging yourself, judgment is on a lower vibration, and your solution is on a higher vibration. How in the Sam Hill are you going to see that solution if you are complaining and judging yourself? So when you judge, you blind the eye and you cannot see your way forward. But if you edify, which means to pat yourself on the back, oh wow, I did that. I decided that I wasn't going to have a mess anymore. So I started with that little corner over there. And now look, my entire living room is clean. And it is so easy. You clean and you tidy so you never have to clean, if you know what I'm saying. And then when you walk in there, you're like, oh, yeah, that's nice. And it smells good. And you can have somebody over. See how far reaching that one decision is. You've just made room for somebody to come in your space. Now, if you're like me, I'll keep it clean, but that doesn't mean I want company. I'm just like, that means I gotta put clothes on. But I digress. You see what I'm saying? I gotta do my hair. Oh, yeah, no. I just like to be comfortable in my PJs. I digress. So remember today, in order for you to make room, the thing that is the burr in your saddle, the pebble in your shoe, the bee in your bonnet, that is getting your attention, get out polarity. And you say, okay, I'm there right now. I want to be here. And you put those two things on that paper. One's on the left and one's on the right. What are you going to do to move yourself in between? And as soon as you decide that you're going to move yourself, you have elevated your vibration. And thus, because you've elevated your vibration, the solution is right before you. And you do it because you can see it, because you are on the same frequency as it. They describe it to you as like a radio station. You pick up what's there, what you can tune into. But vibration, it is moving. Some vibrations move fast, some move slow, some are in between. Where are you? And you'll know where you are. You'll know exactly what vibration you're on because of the way your body feels. If you're agitated and the belly is tight, oh, you know where you are. And how do you change it? A thought. So today, my beautiful friends, today, make room. Make room. So now when you think of things like feng shui, you will understand why. You see, feng shui is part of traditional Chinese medicine, you know, just so you know. It's part of it because there it is when you're treating somebody, they tell you as above, so below, as within, so without. This is why some of the herbs are meant to vent, meaning if you have the beginnings of a rash on the outside, there's something on the inside. And that's why you have to use a herb that will vent that rash because the rash is better on the outside of the skin than on the organs. So when you hear these things, and now when you look at feng shui, I told you that to tell you that's where the law is. And that's what fascinated me about TCM, traditional Chinese medicine. The law is there in it. And I'm like, what? And so then now you begin to design your space. you will understand why you do it the way you do, because you are changing the vibration of the space. If you have it open, things can come in because the vibration matches. But if you have it cluttered, the vibration is lower. So nothing can come, no change can come. And stagnation, oh, is a bad thing. Stagnation causes pain. Hmm. Funny that, because guilt stagnates inside the body. It causes chi and blood to stagnate. So when you have guilt and you stagnate your chi because it blocks, yeah? It blocks the meridian, guilt. And then what happens? When things can't flow, when blood and chi can't flow, oh, deformities begin to happen, masses begin to happen, as within, so without. Don't think that the law is one sided, 360 degrees. So now you understand why making room to keep the flow going. Rhythm, right? The ebb and the flow. When you have flow going in your space, things come in. Things can always come in. And even though the ebb happens, you might get 3 or 4 things coming in the week. But when you have the ebb, you still get 1 or 2 coming in because the space is open for it. And Eminon says success happens day by day. It's not one day you'll make yourself proud, it is every day that you do it. Make room, make space. That is your word for today. So, you know where to find me. Today is the 21st, I believe. 3 days we have forgiveness, the workshop. It is in my community tab on YouTube. I will do a post on Twitter and Fanbase and Insta. And then on the 28th, we have testimonials. So go through the Rolodex of your mind. And if you have a testimony that you would like to share regarding how you've used the law and you've seen results in your life, slide into my DMs. And on the 28th, we're going to have it probably about an hour and a half, maybe, depending on who shows up. But tell me so I can make room for you. Right? Let's see. Any other announcements I want to tell you? Not at this time, I suppose. But just be encouraged. Be encouraged to know that you've got this. We are always growing, we are always learning. Always. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3. Twitter, you know I love you. AR. Oh, I see you, Arab Panda. Thanks for joining today. Jeff, welcome and thank you for being here. 2, 1. Much love, Twitter. Much love. And you know I'm still here on YouTube, so you can pop over here to catch the the last tasty morsels of hanging out. Much love. Twitter is closed. One hand is free. Fanbase. I see you all. Thank you so very much for being here. Intuitive, my melanin, jaded housewife, David, Miss Ravioli, L. Malik Jamea, Zola, Shanice, Miss McQueen, and Yolanda, Summer Rose. Summer Rose. So I'll see you again, fan base. I sure will. Yolanda, thank you so very much for your contributions every morning to help me out. I truly appreciate it. All right, fan base, I will holler at y'all later. You know you can find me on YouTube still. Fan base is closed. YouTube, it's just us. You guys are awesome. You come every morning and you share, and we grow and we learn together. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and tell your friends. So that what? we can grow more because this information needs to get out. Oh, yes, indeed, it does. It must. It must. Because there's so many of us who are struggling, and it is important that we understand instead of fighting against, find the way because the way is always there. Remember, within the problem is the seed of the solution at all times, right? I love you guys so much. And I thank you for being here and spending this time with me. And oh, excellent, Queen Marat. I look forward to it. I look forward to connecting with you via Twitter, Queen Marat. Oh, Miss Ravioli, I see you. um, yeah, I'm gonna revel in my new space that I just opened up today in the living room because now I got to get a kitchen table and a love seat. That's what I got to get now, and a rod to partition because I see it. Because, and one thing that helps when you, because when I went out there, right? Because my moving boxes, I've been here for 4 months now. My moving boxes are all still there. I haven't unpacked everything, you know, because I didn't have space. So what I did was, because my bestie was like, she put her foot up my butt and said, "You have got to do something, Angela. Fix it." And I was like, "Okay." And so when I was awakened this morning at 3:44 a.m., all I heard was, "You should go tidy up that space." And I was like, "Are you serious? It's 3:44. I don't go live till 5:30." And what did I hear? "Well, you got plenty of time to get it done." And I was like, "Oh." And so I got up and I did it. So everything is where I need it to be. And so now all I have left to do is to go out and buy a kitchen table because I know what I saw it in my mind, and I'm like, okay, I know what I want, and a sofa or a love seat for right there. And that wasn't there before. Now I have a space so that when somebody comes to visit me, shoot, I can make tea. I can pour somebody some tea. Hello. So that's why it's important that we make space. Look at the opportunities. Look at the opportunities. I'm excited by that. I get to decorate, and I've never been one to decorate because I don't think I have that kind of taste. That's why my bestie is who she is, because she's the one with the taste. She goes, "Oh, this would look good here. How about you get that?" And I'm like, "Done." And then when I step back and I'm like, "Oh, she is amazing." So you see what happens when you make space? Opportunities present themselves. And who knows, maybe I'll be able to invite somebody over and do a live stream in that space. See? Look at how many opportunities will present themselves when you make space. I love you. Each and every one of you. Synovia, Queen Marat, Miss Ravioli, long live Eminon. Ties, tidbits. Welcome, honey, welcome. Oh, K Frame Classic. Welcome. Walter, Empressella, Tracy, A Not, Everyday King, Pens. Look, every time I see your name, it trips my mind out, man. Pens, the acronym, but I'm going to be a good girl. Um, David, Cyber, the better man, and a Sonia. You were all here today. And for the ones who did not make themselves known, I see you as well. All right, y'all. Love you, and I will see you soon. Remember, nighttime guided meditation, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. I. Oh yeah, because it's gratitude for the whole month of February. So if you haven't started listening to those ones, I will do my best to label them for February so that you know all of February's gratitude and cultivating a lifestyle of gratitude as you fall asleep so that your waking time is filled with things that you can be grateful for, things that you just say, oh, wow, I love it, thank you. Yeah. So I will see you soon, my beautiful friends. I'll see you soon.